Inversion techniques. Inversion techniques. Now first I will define what is this term, then we will go details about it. Now see, now you see map of India, it is something like this. Something like this. Now we have the Himalayan mountain range, then Aravalli mountain belt, then Eastern Ghat mobile belt, Satpura mobile belt, then we have Kraton, Dharwad Kraton, Southern Downlight terrain, Singhbum mobile belt. Now all these areas, Himalayan mobile belt or all these areas are dominated by sedimentary rocks. These are sedimentary rocks, particularly carbonate, illite and quartzite. So these sediments definitely were deposited in a basin. The basin could be oceanic, where oceanic crust is exposed on the, just like Bay of Bengal or Arabian Sea, oceanic crust is exposed, Indian Ocean, or it could be ensign, where the basement is granitic, and over that the sediments are deposited. But in case of oceanic, you have continental crust, then ocean floor, then continental crust. So this is the oceanic basin, this is the ensign basin. So all these were once upon a time either a oceanic basin or a ensign basin. Now oceanic basins were closed. Oceanic basins were closed by subduction. So it was closed by subduction. Then mountain belts were formed, like Himalayan mountain belt. So Tethys Ocean was existing here, so Tethys Basin was existing here, so sediments were deposited. So later on, subduction happened, continental collision happened, so mountain belt formed. Similarly, Aravalli mobile belt, oceanic basin was existing here, sediments were deposited. Satpura mobile belt, Eastern Ghat mobile belt, Southern Downlight terrain. These are all oceanic basins where sediments were deposited. Later on, subduction happened and mountain belts were formed. So this is this category of basins. Now, but there are another set of basins like Vindhyas. Here Marwar basin is there. Then even Chhattisgarh, Kadapa, Bhima Kalargi. So these basins, and you have basins in Kutch, Barmer, Jaisalmer, Kambe. So these are also basins where sediments are deposited. So these are protologic basins. Vindhyas, Chhattisgarh, Kadapa, Bhima, Kalargi. These are protologic basins. These are mostly ensign basins. This type, you have granitic basement over which the sediments are laid down, and you get these basins. And now these are phenologic basins, which are your Kambe or Barmer, Jaisalmer, Kutch. So these are Jurassic and Tertiary basins where sediments are deposited, and the basins are. Now these are mostly ensign basins. That means below you have continental crust, and the mobile belts are mostly having a oceanic crust at the bottom. Now, when we talk about basin inversion or inversion techniques, we are referring to this type of basins, ensign basins. Ensign basin means having a granitic crust below. These basins, what happened? Subduction happened, then the mountain belt formed, then those sediments are folded, metamorphosed, sheared, thrusted. So you are developing a mountain belt here. But in case of ensign basin, this does not happen. Ensali basin, if you go to Vindhyas or any of these basins, you will find they are not metamorphosed and deformed to a very less extent. They are not extensively deformed or metamorphosed. So those basins are different from, because there is no subduction, there is no collision happen for these ensalic basins. So they form a different category, and these forms a different category. Now when we talk about this basin inversion or inversion tectonics, generally we refer to these type of basins. So today we will define what is this basin inversion and inversion tectonics. Now you see, like suppose Himalayan mountain. What happened to Himalayan origin? The sediments were there, and subduction happened, subduction go. So all these things were crumpled, to form, forming this origin or mountain. Now here, the sediments which were inside the basin, inside the sea, now they are occurring at the mountain top. That means from a negative relief feature it has come to a positive relief feature. From a basin which is 10 kilometers below the surface, now it has come 10 kilometers above or 9 kilometers above the surface, like Everest mountain. So they come above. That means from basin to mountain bed. So basin, how does the basin form? Already we have discussed in extensional setting or rifting setting. Extensional setting or rifting setting. Continental crust extended, rifting happened. So basin formed and sediments were deposited. So from an extensional setting, it is going to a compressional setting. This is what happened in case of Aravalli, Eastern Ghats, Sindhu, everywhere. This type of tectonic inversion takes place from extension to compression. But these inversions generally do not include in basin inversion or tectonic inversion. Why? Because here subduction happened. Subduction is followed by thrusting. Thrusting is followed by normal faulting. Then these rocks are exposed to the surface. So that is a different phenomenon. Subduction followed by exhumation or upliftment. Subduction followed by upliftment by thrusting. Then once they come up, then the extension again takes place by normal faulting. So rocks are exposed on the river. So this is a different type of process, subduction, exhumation, phenomenon. But in case of the ensalic basins, like suppose let us say take the case of Vindhyas. So you have Vindhyas sediments are deposited in the basin. These are deposited in a basin, Vindhyas basin. Negative relief feature. But here is your Aravalli crater. Here is your Bundelkhand. Now there this basin formed by extension, rifting, and the sediments are deposited. But now where the Vindhyan is occurring, very high, forming very high mountain. All these sediments has gone up, has been uplifted to a height of 5,000 feet. It has been uplifted, thrusted up. ऊपर आ गया, फिर again it has come up from the ocean or from the basin to a hill, Vindhyan hill. So from a basin it form the hill. It form the hill. Similarly, case with your Bhima Kalargi sequence, they are forming very high hills now. They were once upon a time inside the basin. So how they have come up to the hill? Kadapa, Chhattisgarh, or any basin you see, Kutch, Bhuj, if you go Jurassic sequences, now they are forming the hills. Those small hills, but they are forming the hills. So how those rocks inside the basin they came up to the hill? So there was some mechanism for bringing those things. Here there is no subduction, no upliftment by exhumation or no upliftment by thrusting, no exhumation. Those processes is not operating here because these are encyclic basins. Their subduction process is not operating. So when these type of basins, the rocks are forming inside the basin and now coming up to the hill. So this is known as basin inversion. Basin inversion or inversion techniques. This we are going to discuss. Other one you know, the oceanic basin or the mobile bed or the mountain bed, those things you know. Subduction happens, then fold thrust belt develops, thrusting happens. That is a different process altogether. But this process is also different. Let us see what is happening. Now you see, in the first stage is the basin formation. This we have already discussed in the earlier classes. Basin formation. How the basin formation takes place? Basin formation takes place by extension and lifting. This is the first stage. That means you have a granitic crust. The extension takes place. Then these normal faults develop. Then subsequently this type of basin develops where sediments are being deposited. So this is called rifting. So rifting gives rise to a basin. Now this formation of basins, there are two models which we have already discussed. One is a simple shear model. By Wernicke, and pure shear model by Mackenzie. So these two gentlemen have given two different models for basin formation. In case of simple shear model, so in the granitic crust, this type of structure develops. First, listric fault develops. And you have this rotational faults in it. Rotational blocks. This type of structure develops. Then subsequently one more listric fault develops. Like this, the basin expands. So the basic thing which lies or underlies the simple shear model is a listric fault, and the faulted blocks, they rotate and goes down, forming this basin. So sediments are deposited inside this. Like this. So this is simple shear model. So the faulting happens like this. Normal fault. In case of pure shear model, that also we know. So there you get host and damage by developing two sets of faults like this. Sediments are deposited here. This is pure shear mud. Conjugate sets fault develop, sediments are developed. This is a pure shear mud. These two things already we have discussed, but generally the simple shear model is being followed for the formation of the basins. Now, let us see in simple shear model what happens. Suppose this is the district. So what happens? The cover or the basement or the granitic crust is bent like this. Bent like this. This is the granitic crust. Granitic crust is bent like this. So here is the slip. So this is called rollover antiform. Rollover antiform. So rollover antiform develops. Now, next what happens? The sediments are being deposited here. Sediments are being deposited here. Then next what happens? This will be further bent. यहाँ आ जाएगा. ऐसे हो जाएगी. Gradually, it will come down. It will become steeper like this. So these sediments, these formations, they will be here now. They will be here now, and you see, next batch of sediments will grow here. So gradually, sedimentary thickness, the sedimentary bed thickness will become more and more. Here is more. That means this fault is growing. This fault is growing, and basin is becoming deeper and deeper, and sediments are being deposited in that basin. Now, if you compare, suppose I am just drawing the diagram right from the beginning, one set of diagram. You see, suppose, imagine ऐसे था, just beginning. So sediments are deposited here. Some sediments are also deposited over it. It will also extend to that side. So this bed A may not be here. A is not here. But B bed will continue in this side. B bed will be continuing this side. Let us take an example. So B bed thickness and B bed thickness around this fault is same. B bed thickness and B bed thickness same. Now as this fault grows means more and more slip will take place. So this layer or this basement will go down. The basement will become like this. So this A bed will come here. A bed will come here. Now B bed, which has a representative this side also, then B bed will come here. B bed. So now the whole basin, this depression, will be occupied by C. So how C will occur? Now C will be like this, Here will be C also. Other side will be C. And this C, you see how thick is C. But C will be very thin. Why C will be thicker here? Because we are creating a bigger depression here. Because where from the depression came? Because the faulting is going on. The extension is going on. Rifting is going on. So this bed is deposited in the rift valley or rift basin. But C is developing on the basement, on the other side of the fault. That is why this C and this C, this is much larger thickness. So when these type of things happen, but D thickness and B thickness are same, but C thickness is larger. That is, C bed which is much thicker compared to the other side of the fault, then you say this is a seam drifting sediment, a seam drifting bed. Now suppose faulting discontinued, then D bed will be deposited. So D bed will be same again thickness, D bed will be similar thickness. So D is post drifting, D is post drifting, having same thickness. C is seam drifting, and how about B? B is pre-drifting. The remark thing is, the difference is D will be same thickness as this B. C will be larger thickness in the base compared to the surrounding, and D will be again same thickness. So this is post drifting, this is seam drifting, this is pre-drifting. So this is how the beds will be identified, whether it is deposited during drifting or before drifting or post drifting. So I will draw another sketch where it will be further clear. Let us see. He is drawing a sketch. I will take it from this paper. What it is doing? Here is a fault plane. This is the district fault, and here is A, bed A, then B, then C. Here is A, B is, this is B, and this is B bed is this is B, A, B, then this is C. A, B, C, there are three beds. This is the district fault. So he is asking what is A, B and C status. So A is pre-drifting, B is seam drifting, D is post-drifting. So that is how it is to be defined. Now, point is, what is the basin inversion? So once a basin forms like this with pre, seam and post sediments, so this type of faulting was happening during drifting. After few million years, so this arrow, which is downward, now it will work as upward. So earlier what was happening? This was working as a normal fault. So there was extension like this. So normal faulting was happening. Now somehow this extension will convert to a compression. How this conversion will take place, I will tell you. First we listen. So this compression will happen, and along this fault, the movement will be reverse now. So that means this base of sediments will be now pushed upward along this fault. This basin sediments will be pushed up, thrusted up. That means now the district fault will work like a district thrust. So district normal fault will work like district thrust. Basin. So in that case, what will happen? You see the diagram. I will draw it. So you keep. So there will be upward movement. So here C bed will be bulged up. ऐसे हो जाएगा. C will be like this. You see. And B will go somewhere here. This surface will go somewhere here. ये ऊपर चला जाएगा. And this bed will come here, B, and then there will be A. So all these points will go up. Now see the B bed has gone up, C bed has gone up, A has also gone up. Now, so this is called basin inversion. This is called basin inversion. This is called basin inversion or inversion tectonics. Inversion tectonics. So the definition of basin inversion is initially a basin forms by in extensional setting by lifting. So the basin develops along a distinct thermal fault. So there are the group of pre-drift sediments, syn-drift sediments, and post-drift sediments. Then subsequently this basin will be inverted. Inverted in the sense the sediments will be thrusted upward. Same distinct thermal fault will work like a distinct thrust, and all these beds will go forming a bonds here. Then B bed will go up, A bed will go up. So the normal fault will be converted to a reverse fault or a thrust. So this happens from a extensional setting to compressional setting. So extensional setting to compressional setting, this sort of inversion is called tectonic inversion or inversion tectonics or basin inversion. Now let us see different features of basin inversion. See, it is drawing a diagram something like this. This is now inversion. Now see what I have drawn. This is B bed. This is B bed. Now here B has come to this place. The top surface has joined with B on the other side, but lower surface is still below because this is thicker. This is a syn-drift sediment, and A is here. A B. This is C. And C bed, suppose C bed has gone up. If you compare these two sets of beds, A, B, C, it is clear that A, B, C has gone up, has been thrusted up. But thrusting is so much that the B bed and D bed this side, they have come to its original position. They are now parallel. So this point, when they are parallel or they join each other, this is called a null point. Null point. Null. So that means this surface is a single surface, continuous surface. There is no visible displacement along this surface. But if you see the bottom surface of B or the top surface of A, there will be displacement. There will be displacement. But this the top surface of B and top surface of B on either side of the fault, there is no displacement. That is why this point is called a null point. Null. Okay, so null point, another diagram is showing of null point. I will draw it. What is drawing? bottom surface of B, bottom surface of B and bottom surface of B. So this is a knob. So now this is the null point in a inversion technique. Okay. Now I'll draw few other diagrams just to explain this inversion part. Then I'll give you some examples. What is showing now suppose somebody asks you what is the difference between A, B, C and D, E, F. So that means A, B, C is syn-lifting. A, B, C is syn-lifting. And D, E, F are post-lifting. Post-lifting. Basic definition is thickness is increasing here compared to the other side. Here thickness is same. Now, when the inversion is taking place, so what is happening? Now, you see, when the inversion is taking place like this, so this side beds they are remaining parallel. This side beds are remaining parallel. But here the beds are already bent, so they are developing this type of folds. This type of folds will develop. So these are called overfolds. Overfolds. So this is called slip inversion. Slip inversion. Now these ABC beds, DEF beds, they will be all folded like this because of this thrust. But this set of beds will remain horizontal. So this is one of the important features in the basin inversion. Overfolds. Overfolds is the one type. Overfold. Second feature, let us see. I will move this part. I will draw another set of diagram. What is telling? Suppose this was the basin margin fault. This was the basin margin fault. The slip, reversal of slip is taking place. It may so happen, instead of thrusting taking place along this plane, there could be a subsidiary thrust plane. This is the secondary thrust. As a result, what happens? Here we get the folds. Here also there will be displacement. Here there will be displacement of beds. Here there will be displacement of beds. So these two features can also develop during immersion. So this is known as secondary thrust. in the footwork. In the footwork. Another feature of the basin inversion. Now, third point is this basin margin fault. This is the basin margin fault, reversal of slip. Basin margin fault, reversal of slip taking place. It may so happen, this got inverted like this. This got inverted. As a result, what happens? These sediments, they will all crumpled, folded like this. Here, these sediments will be folded. So you may find some isoclinal folds, isoclinal recombinant fold, isoclinal recombinant fold. You may find within this strata. So this is an other side. The sediments will be like this. Horizontal bedded sediments will be like this. Horizontally bedded sediments. Or if there is no sediment, the basement, no sediment, then the basement will be thrusted up. Basement will be thrusted over. Basement will be thrusted over. I will draw that diagram how it happens. It may so happen that suppose the fault becomes inverted like this. This is the basin margin fault. These are granites. So the granite will occur now here. Granite will overlap the thrust. Now earlier the thrust was this way, inclined this way. Now this thrust will be inclined this way. Because of this basin margin inversion. So granite will be overlying the sediments. You could draw a borehole here. So first there will be granite, below you have the sediments. Sediments will be there. So this happens when the basin margin fault is inverted towards the basin. Now point is, third point are right. The basin margin fault is inverted towards the basin. This is inverted towards the basin. So what happens? The folds, recombinant folds, shears, shear planes, all these things develop in the sediments. And if you put a borehole, so borehole will intersect the granite first, followed by sediment, then sediment. This reversal of sequence, granite will overlie the sediment. This happens when this basin margin fault is inverted back toward the sediment basin. So these are some of the features, in case of basin inversion or tectonic inversion. Now I will show you some examples. Sometime Let's see. Here, the Deccan Kodapa, Deccan Volcanic Province. This is Dharwad. These are the Bhima. These are Bhima. Bhima. So Bhima is overlying the Dharwad, the granites, like this, Dharwad. So this is the basin margin of Bhima and Dharwad. And DVP, the Deccan Volcanic Province, is overlying Bhima. So Bhima is a protologic sequence. So these are the basin margin, or these are the Antan. This is the Antan. Now here is your basin margin fault. Here is your basin margin fault. Now this basin margin fault subsequently has become a basin margin thrust. So Bhima rocks have been thrusted over Dharwad rocks. So if you just take a cross section like this, so there is a place called Bogi. In Karnataka, we are working there. If you take a cross section across this basement, so it will be something like this, The basin margin fault has become a thrust. And utterly thrust has been inverted back toward the sediment, and here are the granites. So sediments are very complicatedly folded. Close to the basin margin is very complicatedly folded. Isoclone recommended folds will find there, and granite. So AMD people, Atomic Mineral Directorate, those people, they are doing investigation for uranium. So they have put many borons here. And surprisingly, what they are getting granite first, then the sediments in the core. That is how the structure has been deciphered. Otherwise, how the basement rocks will be over the basin. Basement rocks cannot occur over the basin unless there is a thrust. So this thrust has taken a turn as so now because of this inversion, number of fractures are developed like this. This area is extremely deformed zone. So along these fractures, this uranium mineralization is detected. Uranium mineralization in limestone is detected. The granite is the source of uranium. So from granite it has gone into the limestone along these fractures. So because of this inversion of the thrust or the basin margin fault. So this is known as basin inversion or inversion techniques. Now similarly, you just come to Bindhyans. I will do this part. You come to Bindhyan. Where is Bindhyan? Aravalli mountain is here. Here is a Bindhyan. This is Bundelkhand. So you must be very acquainted with. There is a place called Kota, where this coaching classes were going on once upon a time. Bundi. There is a place called Bundi. So along those areas, there is a very prominent fault plane, that is called Great Boundary Fault. Great Boundary Fault. So Great Boundary Fault demarcates the Bindhyans from the Aravallis. Aravallis are deformed metamorphosed sediments, but the Bindhyans are not deformed metamorphosed. But the contact is a dislocation zone, fault. Now if you see this fault, the Bindhyans has been thrown up by thousands of feet above the Aravallis. Now this is a thrust. Initially it was a fault, initially it was a normal fault, followed by the thrust. That means what? Because of drifting, normal faulting before normal fault developed, so Bindhyans were deposited. Subsequently, this fault was reactivated as a thrust. So basin inversion took place. So Bindhyans were uplifted, thrusted up. Well, now Vindhyas are forming very high hills compared to Aravallis. So this is here also inversion is taking place, basic inversion. Now you go to other areas, like sometimes you visit Eastern Ghats. There are many sedimentary basins, Chhattisgarh here, Kharia, Ampani. There are many such sedimentary basins. Now you see these basins, they are forming very high hills, very high hills. Completely forested here, Kharia, Chhattisgarh, Ampani. Now how this? Here also there is tectonic inversion. Tectonic inversion is taking place. Tectonic inversion is taking place. So all these basins from its basin stage it has gone to the hill stage because of this basin inversion or tectonic inversion. Now if you go to Kutch here. This is Saurashtra, this is Kutch. You will find so many thrusts, east-west thrusts in the Jurassic basin. So from where the thrusts came. So they are also the signature of thrust, signature of inversion, basin inversion. Everywhere where there is a sedimentary basins, probably this Barmer, then Jaisalmer, then these Kambe basins, they are not inverted so far. Inversion has not taken place. That is why they are still below. They have not come up. But Gondwana basins are inverted. They have been thrown up. They have been thrusted up. So except a few tertiary basins, other basins has faced a tectonic inversion. Now, when it comes from an extensional setting to a compressional setting, how it happens? Now see, you see map of India. Now suppose Vindhyas. So these are ones of the extensional setting was going on. Now point is from extension how compression came. Similarly, say our Bhima extension was going like this. Then where from the compression came. Now see, for this inversion, you should know the age of the basins. To understand this mechanism, you should know the age of the basins. So this age of the basins you can say 1.8 billion. Now this 1.8 billion year, what is the age of Aravalli? The Aravalli group or Aravalli supergroup is 1.8. Eastern Ghat, what is the Eastern Ghat sediments? We are somewhere around 2.1.8. So when these mobile beds, they were having sediments in the oceanic basin, these are oceanic basins. So that time these basins are also in the process of formation. They were having encyclic basins, granitic basins. But these are not having granitic basins. These are oceanic basins. These oceanic basements, they led to subduction or collision. But these encyclic basements didn't lead to subduction and collision. But this subduction and collision in the oceanic basin also migrated towards these encyclic basins. Migrated. Eastern Ghat collision and subduction. Migrated towards nearby basins. These nearby basins. So when Eastern Ghat mobile belt was under compression, these basins also, though it is a little far away, but they still experience this compression. Similarly, Vindhyas also experienced compression when Aravalli erosion took place. Similarly, Bhima basin also experienced compression when this Satpura erosion took place. Like this, when these orogenic beds or the mobile beds were developing because of compression, that compressional stress were transmitted to nearby encyclic basins and they faced or they underwent this compression stress. So that compression gave rise to tectonic inversion or the basin inversion. This has to be understood. But since these are mobile beds, subduction happened, collision happened, but these are axial basins, so collision and subduction didn't happen. It only worked as a inversion, basin inversion or tectonic inversion. So this is what is sum total of basin inversion and tectonic inversion. So you should remember these things, and if you want to have more reading, you can read some of the papers. I can refer some papers here. One is your Grocott, Grocott, Grocott et al. You can search in the internet, 2017. Then this is William, I think. William et al. This is when it is published. Year of publication is not shown. It is not somehow mentioned. But you can search it. And the Grocott et al. Basin inversion, William et al. Basin inversion, you will find some mathematical computation they have given, and other geometrical descriptions have been made there, so you can go through it. So with this, I will conclude this basin inversion and tectonic inversion. Okay.